From Robert, do you have a favorite Ericksonian trance induction? Well, this is interesting. First of all, let's take the concept of trance induction as a technique. Well, it's not really a technique, it's a process. So it's not something that has a definite beginning, a middle, and an end with a series of steps or the things you tick off in the various boxes. It's not so much that, because the way Erickson worked was to work with the unique individuality of every client. Okay, he had some things he'd always fall back on. He had one of his favorites was the arm levitation, for example, or an eye fixation. I used to have a glass paperweight. I don't use anything really that dramatic. I tend to just chat, So what I've taken from Erickson is his ability to create trance states by using hypnotic language. But of course, we need a context in which to use this language. Otherwise, if there's no context, then it's just like us mumbling. And one of my favorite ways to do this is to ask people about their leisure interests. The reason I do this is because most leisure interests have a trance component. Even something very active like dancing, for example, or something very like a sport, like athletics, there's a focus, there's a concentration. Or on the other extreme, of course, something like painting, drawing, listening to music, playing music, going for a walk in the park. Pretty much every leisure activity has a trance component. Now, obviously, there are some we're going to avoid. If somebody says, well, I love to drive, you're not going to be using the trance that you have when you drive as an induction, because you don't want to associate the two together, obviously. So you pick something that's going to be safe for the client. So let's say somebody says, well, they like to, they like music. Okay. What kind of music do they like? Let's say classical music. Okay, fine, perfect. They like listening to classical music. Okay. What kind of classical music? Like, what you're trying to identify is the most trancey, if you like, classical music this person would like. If they like, the 1812 Overture or something like this, or the planets, or then this may be a little bit too, evoking lots and lots of emotions. You want something that's more calm and relaxing. So let's say our client says, I like some Ravel or some Debussy piano pieces, something like that, which is very relaxing and almost hypnotic in itself. So you log that and think, okay, I can use that one. What else do you like to do? Leisure interest. And if someone says, well, I like to maybe go walking in the park or something. I like nature, so I often go take the dog out for a walk, and I enjoy that. Okay, so okay, walking in nature. Okay, we could use that one, definitely. No harm in going into a trance when you're walking in nature. No harm going to trance when you're listening to classical music. Anything else you're interested in doing? They say, well, I love cycling. You think, well, okay, well, that's okay, but no, it's a little bit like driving. So you don't tell them this, of course, you're just thinking in your head. Okay, maybe, no, we'll leave the cycling to one side. Is there anything else that they might like? I like painting a little bit. Oh, really? What kind of things do you paint? Say, I like doing portraits. You think, portraits doesn't really go with walking outside. Have they said, I like painting landscapes? You can say, so what sort of thing do you paint? They may well say, well, it's the things I see on my walk. I like to go home and then paint, what I've seen, landscapes. You think, oh, even better. So imagine we have our client here. This is what they like to do. They like listening to relaxing classical music, number one. Number two, they like to go walking in nature. Number three, they like to paint the things they see in nature. This is absolutely 100% good quality raw materials for a trance induction. So how do we do it? So the way Erickson would work is to always utilize what the clients give you. So here we've been asking questions to get that information, so we know we have something to work with, so raw materials. As Erickson said, you can only do good work if you've got good materials. So we're evoking that from within the client with these questions: what, where, how, when, which type questions, to get content. Okay, so you say to them, okay, so what does it feel like when you're listening to music? When your mind's kind of wandering, and as soon as you start asking to what it feels like, not what it sounds like so much, but what does it feel like when you are listening to music? How can they answer that question without going into the experience? They're having to go into the experience, let go and going in. Okay, so you'll see them defocus. Their eyes will defocus. Maybe the muscles will smooth out. Maybe their breathing will slow down for a few seconds, and they'll kind of listen to it. And they say, oh, it feels really relaxed. Okay, yeah. And you can say, isn't that interesting how relaxed that feels? Okay, so you've got them already starting to go in a little bit. They're hallucinating the auditory component. They're going inside and recalling it, and recalling, more importantly, the feeling associated with it. Then you can maybe say, so when you go walking, walking in the countryside, what's that like? What are you looking at? What sort of things do you see? Colors, shapes, images. Don't suddenly include something that may not be part of their reality. Okay, countryside, yeah, pretty safe. There are trees, plants, etc. But don't suddenly put a telephone box in there or something. It may be a complete mismatch. Okay, unless you know that's where they go. So what do you see? What's it like? What is it you like about walking? What feeling do you get when you're really absorbed in the walking? What's that feeling you get? They're going to go back into a similar state that they accessed when they were talking about listening to the music. They're going, oh, it's trance. Oh, it feels really good, feel relaxed. And I like that, yeah. Okay. So you've got two now. You've got two you could use separately. Why not use them together? Okay, remember the third one was painting. Let's bring that in a little bit later now to deepen it and reinforce it. So if you were walking in the woods now, just be there somewhere now in your mind. Just be walking in the woods. Have a look around, explore. Notice what's happening as you do that. And now what you can do is you can feed back the minimal cues, the things that are happening to their physiology, the changes you're seeing. So, for example, if their breathing is now slowing down, you might say, yes, and as you're walking then, you hadn't noticed yet how your breathing is more relaxed. Okay, this is how we're using the indirect language patterns as well. How did you do that? Of course, they can't say, well, I did it deliberately, because they didn't. It just happened to them. How did you do that? They're just going to nod their head or say, oh. And say, you don't know how you slowed your breathing down, but a part of you knew how to do that and has done that for you now, starting to put you into a hypnotic state. And they start to be aware of this change is happening. And the eyes will start to, slow down, the blinking will start to slow down, maybe slow blink reflex or something. As you see this, you can say, and you can go to that place now as you walk. If they're not closing their eyes, quick enough for you, you can even say, and maybe just allow your eyes to close and be there as you walk. And how wonderful can it be to be walking and hearing Debussy playing the piano piece from Debussy in the background, or your favorite relaxing piece of music at the same time. So you're bringing in the music trance as well as the walking trance, if you like. And then you encourage it more. So as you walk, just hear the music, and you can go even deeper. Now they're going into trance. So you can start using the words trance, for example, or hypnosis. And now as you hear the music, as you're walking, every step you take takes you deeper and deeper into this wonderful feeling. And as you hear the music, it takes you even deeper. And I wonder what you'll be looking at now as you go deeper. Wonder what things you'll be seeing that you can paint later. And so now you've got them exploring their context. So here's the context, okay, 3 leisure activities, and now you're using the indirect language patterns to encourage it to happen. So I would say that, to come back to that question, that would be my favorite hypnotic induction, because you're not doing something. You're not saying you are going into trance when I count to 3 or something like this. It's crazy stuff. You're actually evoking it so naturally from within that person, and you're utilizing things that are naturally trance-inducing for that person. So I think that's a very respectful way of doing it. It homes in on the important trance components, if you like, of that person's life experiences, and you're bringing them out rather than trying to force them to go into some other state or another other place with your own stuff or with some kind of visualization script or something. You're utilizing what they give you. So that's my answer to that question.